Have you ever swum across an Olympic-sized pool before? What about swimming across 20 times in a row without touching sides, in freezing cold, dark and murky, open water? This is the premise of the Midmar Mile, a yearly open water dam swim with thousands of participants. But for some, this just doesn't quite cut it. Here's the story of one man who decided that he needed to swim that cold, dark and murky Olympic pool length 160 times across 2 days, not just to challenge his body and mind, but to raise awareness for a majestic and critically endangered species, the rhino.
I'm Kyle Oliver, and I'll be doing the Midmar Mile 8-mile charity challenge for the Izimvelo Save the Rhino Trust. We went to the Kruger Park for quite a few trips through my teens, and we didn't see a rhino at all. And the next time I saw one was my dad and I did a guided walk through the Kruger Park in my varsity years. And I remember walking out of the camp the one morning, and within about 10 minutes of the walk, we saw these 2 rhinos. And like standing 20 meters away from these things and just standing there for ages, watching them interact with each other, kicking up sand, playing in the mud. I mean, that's really, really special. And that's something that will live with me for a really long time. Well, I think it takes a lot of dedication, I think a lot of determination, a lot of commitment. I love it. I love the challenge of it. I love the endurance of it. I love having a goal. I mean, 8 miles, even though it's split over 2 days, is not something that, it's not an easy thing to do. Not many people do it, but for me it's a challenge. I love the challenge of the endurance-ness and pushing my body to something I haven't done before. And I think what's more appealing for me is that it's a challenge, but you're also doing it for a good cause.
What are some of the toughest parts about training for something like this, things you struggle with most?
I think it's the commitment, it's the knowing that it is early mornings, it takes time. I think a lot of it you do by yourself. I think you really have to be able to pick yourself up when you're struggling. You really have to be able to self-motivate yourself and push yourself to that extra barrier. If you can have that sort of mindset, it makes it easier, but that's not a mindset that many people are born with it. You almost have to develop it through experiences as well.
It's all systems go for the weekend. We do apologize for the weather, but that's one thing we can't control.
I know it's going to be tough, but I'm more excited. I don't really get nervous for the endurance events. I get more excited about the challenge. But I think on the morning there probably will be a few butterflies like as you go on. When you hit like tough moments in the water, I think for me it's about refocus. It's about focusing on the small goals. Fitness-wise, I was feeling good. Body started getting uncomfortable, so I was pretty chuffed when I got to the end of the day. I think fitness-wise I could have easily have done more, but body-wise I think would have struggled. And when you climb out of the water, I think it was a really good feeling to know that, well, this was your challenge and you've completed it, and completed it quite comfortably. And I think for me, I think that was probably the most exciting part about it. I saw a stat recently where they said that over 60% of rhino poaching in South Africa happens in KwaZulu-Natal. And when the trust that we did it for, the Izimvelo Trust, I mean, when they monitor those areas, I mean, you know they need that money, they need that funding. And the fact that I think it was over 320 rhinos in KZN alone got poached last year and that's an increase from, I think, just short of 100 2 years in 2021. So, I mean, they really do need this funding, and it's for a really good cause. So I think that's a really good motivator for something like this.
And just like that, the race was over, and Kyle conquered the open waters on a whole new level. The drive and commitment to fostering positive change and sustainability is hugely important to Kyle and La Marzocco alike. Both are proud to have walked this journey together. Every day we wake up and have a choice: repeat our mistakes or set a new course and drive ourselves towards something with meaning. So set a course for meaning. Don't hold back. You see, greatness awaits those who would choose it.